The range and variety of noodle dishes in Singapore is just astonishing. You can have thick noodles in soup, topped with a variety of seafood or sliced fish, or thin and dry noodles coupled with the best roast meat, or again, very flat and wide noodles, or even extra wide noodle rolls. It's been really fun and a tasty discovery for me so far in Singapore. Today I'm visiting Old Airport Road Food Center, and I'm here to try a couple of amazing Singapore noodle dishes that are missing from my list. But first I had to get some Cantonese roast meat. So the first stall that we are going to visit is Roast Paradise here at Old Airport Food Center. And it was a bit surreal at the start because this stall is extremely famous, but I was the only person queuing up. It's also true that it's 11:30, so it's still quite early, but as soon as I presented into the stall, actually a few other people start lining up behind me. So yeah, this is a very popular stall, famous specifically for the roast pork, Kuala Lumpur style roast char siu pork and pork belly, which are the two types of meat that I choose today. In fact, you've got a menu, you can choose like up to 3 variety of meats to accompany with rice or noodles, and I went for the famous char siu and the pork belly obviously with rice, and you have a few slices of cucumber and 2 different sauces. I think one is sweet soy sauce, ketchup mayonnaise, and the other one is just a simple typical Chinese chili sauce. And it's a rainy day, which is fantastic to enjoy this kind of food. I'm very excited to start. Let's try some of this beautiful crispy pork belly with a little bit of rice, a little bit of cucumber. I don't know if you can hear the noise, but this crispy skin on the top of the pork belly is insane. It's probably one of the crispiest pork belly I've ever had in my life. Probably the crispiest one. This is insane. Like in every piece of pork belly, you'll get this kind of 3 components: the crispy skin on the top, the middle layer which is fat, and the piece of lean meat. Actually, I want to try and take one big piece of pork belly and dip it into the ketchup mayonnaise. Yeah. Let's have a look. The part of the fat in the middle releases so much porky juices. It's just like a pork overload into your mouth, like a feast for the senses, really. This could be very well the best pork belly I've ever had so far in my life. Not that I'm an expert, but the next thing I'm gonna try is the char siu pork. Normally char siu pork is basically tenderloin, kind of marinated for a long time in soy sauce, oni, ketchup, brown sugar to kind of create this kind of juicy, sweet flavors from the pork. But actually this is supposed to be like Kuala Lumpur style char siu pork. But what makes it KL style? Well, apparently they use pork belly for the char siu pork as well, so it's a more fatty and more expensive kind of cut of meat. It's a beautiful fatty part of the pork rather than actually lean meat. Also this beautiful charred and caramelized skin on the top. It looks like it's burned, but it's actually no, it's caramelized. So let's try this with some rice, a bit of cucumber, and see how it goes. I want to get the small pieces as well. This is now my bite of rice and char siu pork. So good, very fatty meat and so juicy, and the skin on the top like tastes like honey. Like imagine having like pork and honey flavored ice cream. That's how the glaze on the top tastes like. I'm a little bit delirious right now, but yeah, I'm just overjoyed. Because this is a sweet cuts already, I'm just gonna dip it into the chili sauce and chase it with rice. Yeah. Actually, the chili sauce is really good with the char siu. You want the sweetness of the caramelized skin and the spice of this very strong chili sauce to kind of mingle. And obviously I will put this into the rice. You need to accompany this with the rice. I'm really happy. I'm a happy man right now. Look how big this piece is. Some of the pieces can actually be... This is a filling meal. It's $4.80 for a double roast. It's quite filling. Get me some chili sauce in this next bite. It's really the percentage of fat that makes this roast meat so exquisitely juicy and delicious. It's now midday and people are flocking in. I was looking for a plate of prawn noodles, another staple of hawker centers in Singapore. And today I discovered that better than a plate of prawn noodles is a plate of pork ribs and prawn noodles.
Where are you from, sir?
Italy.
Oh, I see.
This ochre center is away from the touristy crowd. You can sit down and chat with locals, who are all very kind and curious.
Yeah, this is my first time trying a noodle dish which has got pork and prawns at the same time. It sounds amazing. There is chili powder on the top. You can see the ribs, the shrimps, and the stall is called Albert Street Prawn Noodles. They're actually famous for prawn noodles in general, for fishball noodles, but they've got this version with the pork ribs inside. Let me try this yellow thick noodles first. Nice and soak it into this beautiful broth. Oh, it's really nice. I think the star of the dish is actually the broth. So the broth is made by simmering the prawns and the pork ribs together for hours. And that's how you get this nice and rich broth. Spicy, slightly sweet, but so much umami flavor obviously from the ribs and the prawns. So let me grab this thick piece of ribs, pretty much boiled pork ribs. Looks like very meaty. Yeah, it's boiled meat. Super soft. Slides from the bone like with ease. I wanna get one of the prawns as well. They come off from the shell like very easily as well, and have been releasing their fishy juice into the soup. Super soft. You actually wanna leave the shell of the prawns into your soup to keep releasing the juice. So I've got this chili sauce which I kind of want to put into the soup. Hopefully I'm not gonna regret this move, but I think a bit of spicy kick is needed into these noodles. Oh yeah, now I can feel the kick. But really the star of this dish is the broth. Just a beautiful combination that of having these huge chunks of pork ribs and the prawns releasing their juices into this noodle soup. Like the umami flavor is over 9,000. Look at this guy, the pork rib. And while I was here sitting down in this table, actually I was having a conversation in front of me with one uncle from Singapore. A conversation about this hawker center being very traditional and very old, and lots of local peoples from a couple of generations ago still coming here, appreciating the local Singapore food from this very famous hawker stalls. The atmosphere is just amazing. And as usual, the bottom of the soup is the best one. Super rich with all the remaining stuff. The prawns, the chilies, shallots. You need to collect this yummy goodness and not leave it on the plate. This is that part of the meal where you are essentially collecting everything, even the noodles, with your spoon, just to get that broth into the bite. Obviously there are plenty of drink stalls selling like drinks such as tea or fruit juice and stuff, so I just got for myself like some plum and lime sour juice, which is really nice after all these savory dishes that I've had. Really refreshing. The next dish that I'm gonna have is fried orfan with sliced beef. This is the first time in my life having orfan, and I took this at a stall called Hing Fried Orfan with prawn, beef and sliced fish. Sounds like a little bit of a long and complicated name, but essentially they are famous for the orfan, kind of a Chinese dish, a noodle made from rice, and it's kind of similar to the kway teow that you have all over, you know, Malaysia. Flat rice noodles topped with this beautiful sliced beef, but also what it looks like cabbage. And you know, I was used to have obviously kway teow as a sort of a dry noodle dish, but these are a little bit of a slimy kind of soup, which I believe it's due to the starch coming out from the boiling, the cooking of the noodles. And I also got a bit of chili in vinegar, which I think I'm just gonna throw into the noodles. Alright, so I've got my chopsticks. Let's try and get some, with the help of the spoon as well, a bit of sliced beef and noodles and see what happened. There we go, this looks like a good bite to me. Oh, I love the texture of these noodles. Super soft, kind of chewy as well. Some big slices of beef. It's pretty muscular meat, kind of chewy, like a cow that's been running and doing exercise. And all of this is kind of soaked into this slimy kind of soup, which is kind of a starch feeling into your mouth, and it's full with beef flavor, and it's just really nice. Let's get a bite with some of these beautiful chilies and a little bit of cabbage. Let's try to have a little bit of everything in this bite. they pretty much gonna force you to have some chili in vinegar because it's really important for this dish actually. Oh, this is a completely different thing. The vinegar really counterbalances what it would be a little bit of a dull kind of beefy, surely very beefy flavor, but the vinegar and the chili, this is another dish completely. I love it. And the spoon is actually really helpful because it allows you to get everything into your bite, including this nice and beefy soup.